If you're a business owner, you've probably heard the terms LLC, C Corp, and S Corp thrown around, but what do those things actually mean and what impact can it have on you and your business? If you have a business, most likely you've already got an LLC, so let's start there. Many people think that an LLC impacts the way that you're taxed. However, it actually doesn't. LLC simply stands for Limited Liability Company, and this is actually the extent of what an LLC accomplishes. It simply limits your liability as an individual. There is a separate business entity that operates and does business operations and thus is liable for those operations if some sort of legal battle were to happen. So all income received by the LLC is taxed to the owner as self-employment income. There's no special treatment. If I were to go and I were to start selling cookies on the side of the road, that money would be taxable to me as self-employment income. And if I were to start something that said Noah's Cookie Stand LLC, that would be taxed to me the exact same way. The only difference is that if someone got poisoned and died from a cookie that I sold them, they would sue me versus they would sue Noah's Cookies LLC. So that's an LLC, but now let's move on to an S Corp. If your LLC starts to make a considerable amount of money, you're taking home a paycheck, an S Corp is usually the next step that people take. Why? Well, because an S Corp actually pays you a salary. So in our example, let's say that Noah's Cookies LLC brings in about $100,000 a year in profit. Well, then what I might do is I might pay myself a salary of $40,000 a year and take the rest of the profits in what are called distributions. The reason I would do that is because I would pay FICA taxes, which is your Social Security, your Medicare, and other things like that, on only $40,000, but I would pay self-employment tax on the other 60. And then the other 60 would come to me in the form of distributions throughout the year. Those are the two most common forms of a business, is an LLC and an S Corp. However, there is a third which can happen if a business becomes extremely profitable, and that is a C corporation. The reason most people don't end up switching to a C corporation is because unlike the other two, an LLC and an S corporation, a C corp is not a pass-through entity. An S corp and an LLC simply pass through all profits to the owner, but a C corp actually pays income tax as the business itself, usually of around 21%. And then the profits can be passed through to the shareholders as a dividend. This is where you'll hear the term double taxation come in, because it's taxed once on the corporate side with a corporate tax, but then it's taxed again as income tax through the dividend that's given to the shareholders. This is why most businesses elect to stay as an LLC or an S corporation, because you don't have the business tax that you're paying as the corporation, only the taxes that you pay on the profits that are passed through.